Playboy, the magazine about breasts, has decided that it's not about breasts anymore, and now it's about women who wear clothing. So,
of all the photos of every Playboy ever, this is the one we chose.
a lot of weird stuff.
This is the one.
Well, look, my head's strategically placed. We don't know what Hugh is hiding.
Like, this looks like a picture. You know, when you're there's a mansion and there's a guy, there's a rich guy, and then there's his son underneath. Like, that's what this looks like right now. That
You
looks
can
like,
actually, Adam.
that looks kind of like your father.
This way.
This way?
It'll look like he's on your shoulder.
Yeah, that
There.
really looks
Over-
like your
no.
father back
Oh,
there.
In there, yeah.
Hi, Dad. Thanks. Oh, thanks, Huey.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's great. Is Tony Curtis nearby?
Okay, so let's.
My
let's-
son Harold Hefner is a huge disappointment.
Okay, so Playboy magazine historically has had, naked lady pinups and stuff, and
Yeah.
it's a lot of people's first exposure to naked ladies. You know, it's not full-blown pornography. It's kind of sort of tasteful, and there's articles which some people like to read, and they just recently announced that, hey, they're gonna put some clothes on, and a lot of people had a real big hissy fit about this, in spite of the fact that we are over 15 years, which is a teenage age, into the internet, where you can find anything. You can find anything you want to look at, and people are upset that a magazine that's been around since like World War II is deciding not to show boobs anymore.
Yeah, I think the really interesting thing was, so recently, Max, you and I went to Santa Cruz for a good friend of our, Scott Bromley, for his
of course, Scott.
His, what was it?
Bachelor party.
So we get in the back of our friend's
Quinceañera.
car. Yeah, quinceañera. It's been a good boy this year. We get in the back of our friend's car, and there's a box of Playboys there. And we open it up, and we're flipping through, and I was sort of shocked. And these are like very, very old. This was like what, 60s, 70s?
70s.
And I'm flipping
Some
through,
stuff
and
you're familiar with.
Exactly.
Yeah, well-versed.
Exactly.
Your old stomping ground.
Yeah, Bo.
Some of your
my
early
big John
cranks.
Updike pin-up, and then, a little Farrah Fawcett right next to it.
Yep. And one of the things that really caught me off guard was just how stylish the magazine was back then, and how sort of downplayed the nudity was. There was maybe 4 or 5 pages in the entire magazine that you would see some boobs.
It was a lifestyle magazine.
It really was.
That's what it was. And I think what I find most fascinating is, well, A, that they still have a magazine.
Yeah.
I have even forgotten what those are.
Yeah.
But with Playboy, obviously, for the sex stuff, the internet kind of beats them to the punch. But in terms of the strength of a brand, like that logo on Playboy could not be like, there's probably Mickey Mouse. Like, is that valuable? Like in terms of something that is worldwide and recognized. What do you do when you're sitting on something that valuable, but you can't use it for what it was originally intended for?
I would actually say that the Playboy bunny logo is featured on more trucks than Mickey Mouse. It's usually on those big
Probably
mud
also
flaps
on
and-
like shoulders.
Yeah,
I think it's
shoulders.
featured.
So on a lot of tattoos. On women's bodies.
Here's a weird up at noon exclusive. I had a Playboy bunny on my 13th birthday cake for some reason.
Really?
I thought rabbits were cool.
Oh, I thought you got one for your 13th birthday, and I was like, well, this
not,
got
not
interesting.
in the cake, but like the logo. But
So a woman didn't come out of the cake. Got it.
I don't think a woman even came to the party. It's a 13-year-old boy. What do you want?
But if you look at the
out of Boba Fett.
I was about to say, that sounds like the strangest bar mitzvah ever.
So I mean I have friends that write for Playboy now, and it's still that sort of just like the articles, But their web traffic has quadrupled over the last 2 years because of their initiative to basically start doing much smarter, more editorial-driven, feature-driven, and list-type content. And their nudity stuff has kind of always been pushed to the back end. Playboy's been safe for work on the internet for a few years now, which is like it's weird because it's the one place you would think they would double down or triple down and like, oh, this is where people are getting the porn. We better like put this.
Right,
front
they
and
know
center.
that name.
Yeah.
Not like, I don't even want to know what,
Because I think a lot of,
Website.
I remember like when I don't know if this website still works. I don't want to do a walkthrough for porn live on this show, but when I first started out my young endeavors in the foray of looking at nudes, I went to a website called porn.com because that was the first thing I thought to type in. But you also type in like boobs.com and butts.edu, which is an educational butt website. It's long since gone. But I think people still go in there and they type in Playboy.com, right? And they kind of hope it happens. But I don't know if that's really part of the vernacular anymore. The way we saw Playboys as a kid was we either stole them from neighbors, or you found them in the woods.
Well, or there was that one guy whose parents are separated, and the way that the father was trying to show him favor was to give him access because he became the real popular kid. Even though you knew he was actually kind of creepy and you didn't want to spend that much time with him, but it was kind of worth it because the magazine, the stack of magazines was right there.
Well, there was different types you could find in the wild. There was the living room garage type Pokemon. There was also the woods type. There were the river varieties where you would find just a tattered magazine,
a box of old
thrown to the side of a stream, and
Anyway.
you're like, "I'll make this work."
Yeah.
And you were hoping it was
What
stuck
we're
together
saying
for
is,
rain.
the woods were a magical place in Jersey when you were
So
growing
when you were
up.
watching this, sort of like, what are they saying? What is any of this about?
The woods will always be a magical place.
There was a
in
wilderness
Jersey.
out there before everyone had smartphones, let me tell you.